Hello, this is end of year book tag. The end of the year is almost here and that's scary. So today we're going to talk about all of my reading plans for the end of the year. Also, if my voice is like really croaky, I am still getting over COVID. It's been a few weeks, but I'm slowly getting better. This is the end of the year book tag, which is one of the most fun tags to do every year on BookTube. It was created by Ariel Bissett, and I will have the original tag linked in the comments of this video. And let's get into question 1, which is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? I don't have any that I've been reading for months or that I put aside months ago and I still want to read this year, but I do have all of the books that I'm currently reading, which is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I'm hoping to have this finished by the time this video goes up, but I still have several hundred pages left because this is quite the chunky boy. I'm also reading A Storm of Swords, which I will definitely have finished before the end of the year. And I am reading Nettle and Bone. I just started this one. I'm only 2 chapters in, but it's not that long of a book. And I also started The Order of Pure Moon Reflected in Water, which is also an extremely small book. I'm probably going to pick this up and finish it in the next day or two. This is shaping up to be like a witty action adventure story with like an Asian inspired setting. So if you're into that, Order of Pure Moon Reflected in Water seems to be that so far. I'm pretty sure that's all the books that I'm currently reading. Oh, no, wait. I started the short story collection. This is called The Wind's 12 Quarters. This is a short story collection by Ursula K. Le Guin, and I am reading, I don't know if I want to read the entire collection, but I'm reading several of the short stories, and I'm currently in the middle of one of the short stories. It's called Faster Than Empires and More Slow. This is my introduction to Le Guin, and so far I'm enjoying it. That's what I'm currently reading. Question 2 is, do you have any autumnal books to transition into the end of the year? And I don't really read according to seasons, but as I said, I started Nettle and Bone, which T. Kingfisher's books so far, all of them have kind of been this like weird, dark, cozy fairy tale. She has this weird balance of like dark and cozy in her stories, and this one is also supposed to be like fairy tale inspired. Some of her other books were also fairy tale inspired that I read. Her books are weird, but they work for me, and I think both dark and cozy are autumn vibes. Question 3 is there a new release you're still waiting for? I am super excited for The Great Library of Tomorrow. I've not heard anyone talk about this book, but it sounds really cool, and I am here for magical library books. I like stories about magical libraries, and The Great Library of Tomorrow is like a magical library story, and I am here for it. There's other books that released in October, but will definitely be released by the time this video comes out, and that is the last in the Bloodthorn Saga trilogy. I plan on starting the Bloodthorn Saga this year, hopefully, and I would be excited to get to, binge all of the trilogy and read the last book this year, so I'm excited for that release. And the other one is the Blood Over Bright Haven audiobook just came out, and I'm super excited to read Emma Wang for the first time. Question 4 is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? And let me tell you, I have way more than 3 books I want to read before the end of the year. I literally made a list, and I have like 21 books on that list, and I've only read like 35 books so far this year, so it's not possible for me to read all the books. But I'm gonna try. As I already said, The Shadow of the Gods, the first in the Bloodthorn Saga. I really hope to get to this before the end of the year. I'm going to be continuing the short stories by Ursula K. Le Guin, and I'm going to read A Psalm for the Wild Built. I have read other Becky Chambers books, and I've not read these ones for some reason. I also want to read Orbital. This is on the Booker Prize shortlist, and I'm excited. It sounds interesting. I've heard people read it and think it's boring, but I'm intrigued. I want to read it. Silver in the Woods, I heard, is a quite whimsical story. This is a novella duology, and I hope to get to it before the end of the year. I'm also a little bit on a Macbeth kick, and this is Queen Hereafter, which is a story of Lady Macbeth, and then there's another book I will have on the screen here called Queen Macbeth, which is another Macbeth retelling. I am hoping that these books work for me better than Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid worked for me, so here's to hoping. I also am going to read Hunted, which is a middle grade book about dragons. I've heard it compared to Wings of Fire, which is the reason I want to give it a try. I'm really hoping to read the second book in the Parable of the Sower series before the end of the year, because I want to read the second book, and I feel like if I wait too long, then I just won't read it. So I want to read it before the end of the year. I'm literally just making a pile right here. I also have graphic novels that I want to read before the end of the year, because apparently reading graphic novels is something I do now. It's weird, I know. Invisible Wounds, this is a nonfiction book about people who came back from the war in Iraq and Afghanistan and their experiences with PTSD. I also want to read The Banned Book Club. This is about a college student who grew up in the 1980s in Korea, and it is her experience as a college student sneakily reading books that they were not allowed to read in Korea at the time, and her and her other college students creating a book club around these books. And I want to read Homeboy, which is the story of a non-binary person as they are figuring out their identity and where they fit in the world. That's not even all the books I want to read before the end of the year, but yeah, it's a lot. Question 5 is there a book you think that could shock you and become your favorite book of the year? I think the highest chance goes to A Psalm for the Wild-Built, because I adore Becky Chambers' other books, and I think because I like her other books so much, a Becky Chambers book has a really high chance of becoming a new favorite. I have my hopes up for Shadow of the Gods, but I'm also kind of scared. Like, maybe my expectation is too high for Shadow of the Gods. But maybe this could become a new favorite of the year. And I don't know, Orbital and Queen Hereafter, we'll see. They're currently not books that I think are going to be new favorites, but maybe. And question 6 is, have you already started making plans for the next year? And the answer is yes, I have. So this year, I went into the year and I said I wanted to buddy read at least once per quarter, or participate in read-alongs or Discord read-alongs and stuff. That has been my absolute favorite part of the book community this year, and I intend to continue doing that, and I want to do at least one per month of Discord read-alongs or buddy reads, because I love discussing books with people. That's why I joined the book communities. I love discussing books, and whenever you're reading books at the same time and can discuss them, it's even better. So that is something I want to prioritize in the next year, and I might host my own read-alongs. We'll see. I have a couple in mind, and read-alongs I host might be once per quarter, but then I'll also join in other read-alongs every month. My other thing that I want to do is read more widely. I mostly read speculative fiction, and I want to branch out for a couple reasons. I work at a public library and I get asked for book recommendations, and outside of speculative fiction, I don't feel like I'm very good at recommending books. And if someone is interested in a genre that I don't read, I will direct them to another staff member who reads that genre. So honestly, it's no big deal. But at the same time, I would like to be better at recommending books. I also got asked last week by a patron, what is one book in the library that you think everyone should read? And that is such a hard question for me, because I take it way too seriously and way too literally. And I'm just I don't think there is a book in the library that everyone should read, because there's no one book that's going to speak to everyone. I hope everyone who walks through the doors can find a book that speaks to them. Like, I believe that we have books that could speak to everyone, but it's not a single book. It's like, there's a different book for each person, you know? But it did have me looking through books that I've read and books that I would say talk about important issues and have broad appeal. And I realized that I don't read very many of those, and I want to read more of them, honestly, just for my personal enrichment. But also so maybe I can recommend them to people. And I've been paying more attention to awards this year, which I know is like weird given like the Hugo controversy. The Hugos is specifically a speculative fiction award though, and I've been paying attention to the Booker Prize awards, and this is the first year that I've even been aware of like who won the Nobel Prize in Literature. And I want to read the books of the winning author. They sound really interesting. I want to start with Human Acts. Human Acts sounds amazing, and I would never know about this book if the author did not win the Nobel Prize of Literature. And then I'm just interested in the Booker Awards, and they seem to be like a wide range, not just speculative fiction, but Orbital is on the short list, and In Ascension was on the short list last year. So I don't know. I want to read some of those books because I think they would have mass appeal, and I think they would be what I'm looking for. They probably talk about important issues, may or may not, but at least have more like broad appeal. So I just want to like read outside of my genre. I think my goal for this coming year is like once per month, and I'm okay if maybe I skip a month and then I double up the next month. So it's going to be like a flexible goal, but I'm going to try to read once per month a book that I believe has mass appeal and is not speculative fiction. I will still definitely read and talk about all the speculative fiction books because, as you can tell, all the books I plan on reading are speculative fiction because I love this and I'm going to keep reading what I love. So that is the end of the year book tag. Let me know your answers to these questions in the comments, and if you want to do this tag, you are now tagged. I'll see you in another video. Happy reading!